What is happening in Israel, this war between Israel and Hamas, now it's being spun as the war between Israel and the Palestinians. See how clever that is? But what is happening over there is not a win-win situation. There's much more to this story than we are being told. The news media in the West, the news reporting is biased. It is not going to tell the world both sides of that story. And shame on you Christians for looking the other way and being a party to spreading lies and deception about this. Now, there's one population, an occupied population, that is the Palestinians, who live under a system which has been deemed by many global human rights organizations as a system of apartheid. They live inside of a prison, a cage, without citizenship, without the right to movement, without access to clean water and medicine. They have had no freedom, no sovereignty. Gaza is an open-air prison, and I believe that is the reason why the Western media doesn't go into Gaza to show the world how bad the conditions are there, and that the Palestinians have been living under those conditions for more than 55 years. Palestinians have lived their entire lives under occupation. Fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters have lived their lives, their entire lives, under occupation. Most white folks I know don't know what that feels like. And most white folks I know wouldn't put up with it. Now, as a black man, my ancestors have gone through that, and there are still vestiges of slavery that are in existence even to this very day. One has to imagine what that does to an entire people. Now, Hamas wasn't around 30 or 40 years ago. I'm old enough to know that the PLO, that is the Palestine Liberation Army, was. Anytime the Palestinians fight for their freedoms and human rights, they are labeled terrorists. I recall from history lessons that the British colonists who fled England and who settled in America in the 17th and 18th century, they broke away for various reasons, including religious freedom, economic opportunities, and the political dissatisfaction with the British monarchy. So why was that okay for them, and why were they not labeled terrorists? For many, many years, Palestinians were and are killed with impunity by Israel, and the world does not light up the Palestinian plight. And black Americans, we know this all too well, for those who dare to remember. Of course, the American government wants us to forget. Now, the other population, the Israelis, they enjoy full rights. This whole thing ignores the fact that the Palestinians are an occupied people. They've been occupied for more than 55 years. So what are the Palestinians to do? Nothing? What would you do if you were under those conditions? Are they supposed to live perpetually under those occupied conditions with no human rights? Not even to dare want freedom, not even to dare dream of freedom for themselves and for their children. This is how it works, people. Any person, but let's focus on the Palestinians here. Any Palestinian who fights for his rights is described as a terrorist. Any Palestinian who struggles in a nonviolent way are described as violent. Any Palestinian who resists with words are labeled provocateurs. If you are a foreigner and you support the Palestinians, you are labeled an anti-Semite. If you are a Jewish person, and there are many Jewish persons who support the Palestinians, they are called self-hating Jews. The occupation of someone else's land, the West Bank, is illegal. But it seems to me that the United States and Israel have no problem taking what is not theirs to take. The focus has to be on the root cause of this war. If the world is not presented with the root cause of this war, there will be no peace. In the Middle East, there will be no peace between Israel and the Palestinians. Israel claims that it's going to crush Hamas like it crushed ISIS. But think about that. The belief that you put down one group, what's going to replace it? Another one under a different name with the same mission. So what has to occur is the root cause of this war. And I've seen the mentality of many Christians. They don't care because they believe that Israel is God's chosen people. Yet they are witting and even unwitting partners in the support of wrongdoing. I challenge you Christians who are so pro-Israel, look into the plight of the Palestinians. Look at that history. Look at how the Palestinians have been living in occupied conditions. Would you be willing, I'm referring to you Christians, would you be willing to live under those types of conditions? If there is to be peace in the Middle East, and I don't believe that there would be peace, but if there is to be peace between Israel and the Palestinians, the occupation must end. Look at where the Palestinians are living. They live in a small strip called Gaza. Gaza is an open air prison. The conditions there are terrible, and the world does not even know. And most of the world does not care. The mass media wants you to focus on the plight and the struggle of Israel. By comparison, Israel isn't struggling. Israel is free. The Palestinians are struggling, and they're struggling badly. And let me say this here, because I know there are a lot of you out there who will say, well, you're taking sides with the Palestinians. I support any people who are being oppressed, enslaved, occupied. That's the right way to think. That's doing and thinking the right way, not the wrong way. That's like me being okay with the enslavement of my people. I just have to shake my head on that one. And that's what many are asking. Be okay with the enslavement and the occupation of another people. Apartheid occurred in South Africa. One man stood up as a leader, Nelson Mandela, to fight against apartheid. What happened to him? He was thrown into prison for more than 26, 27 years, and the world stood by and did nothing. There was no outcry. Yet I'm supposed to be okay with people being occupied and oppressed, not being able to move, being in an open air prison. And if you're a Christian, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Wake up from this stupor, this dream, this spell that you're under. You don't support what is wrong. You support what is right. First of all, war is wrong. Look at the horrific conditions the Palestinians have been under for more than 55 years, under the weighty thumb of Israel. And those who support Israel, you Christians, and the United States government and other governments in the West, they are guilty too. If you oppress a people long enough, what do you think they're going to do? But many of you are so selfish. I'm referring to you Christians. Many of you are so selfish, you don't care. You don't even give it a thought. All you see is that these persons they're not Jews. Yet, the one you claim to follow, he was born in that geographical area, today known as Palestine. What about that? So, that's what I have for you today. This is R. Jerome Harris, the Disciple. Thank you for listening.